destroyed. The recording was ruined. All right, so we're live on socials. I am Lee today. I'm MadMaverick. Oi. I don't want to be offensive, so I'm not going to try to do a British accent. But just understand that I do enjoy a good cup of Earl Grey. And I don't know, what would you say? A rousing something on the pitch. I don't know. I'm not very good at being British. I'm out of practice. It's been about 200 and some odd years. No, Nikki, I didn't say oi. I mean, I just did. Yeah, I barely tried. All right, so we've got a pre-market to work with. We've got airline sectors getting a boost because of Delta. So they offered, they had their earnings this morning. They offered some juice, which is good. BYRN also has their earnings coming up. Well, had, I guess. Was that pre-market? Let me check, actually. I'm going to go to the watch list here and just check that out really quickly. Yeah, they had their earnings pre-market. Oh, well. Awesome. Good earnings, Henburn. I don't even care. I know it's up 12.74%. That's all I care about. And I had one share, so it's not gonna make or break me. And again, I could cut this at any point, right? I don't have to hold anything that I don't want to hold. Anytime I'm in profit, I have the ability to secure those profits. But we're not gonna. So on this account, because I have a $22 share, I have a $65 settled cash. Sorry, I had to do some math in my brain. And what that means is that, man, my charts are not loading. This is this might not be safe territory for me to be trading in, guys. I'm sorry. We'll see what I get, but that is a lot of latency there. So what that means is that I have the ability to do 13 $5 trades, or I could do 5 $13 trades, or I could do 5 $12 trades and keep $5 cash. Whatever the plan is, I just got to make sure I call it out ahead of time and that I have some sort of discipline, right? So I'm not going to map it all out for you guys, but you guys have been on these streams for a while, know the importance of being consistent. So basically, all I got to do is pre-market. I'm just going to shop around. I'm just seeing what's out there. I'm not really looking to get into stuff, you know, with significance. Just going to kind of plot out some areas here that I like. And again, it's one of those mornings, like I like EPWK as far as volume to market cap ratio goes, but it's a 9-cent stock. I'm not going to be trading that today unless it really pushes. Yeah, my internet is why you should never copy trade. Absolutely. So I'm just kind of working on my list here. I do see that this has 45.19 million volume and a 1.68 million market cap, which is good in terms of that ratio, but it's a 9-cent stock, a 10-cent stock. So I got to be very careful about this. It's got 11 million float with just as many shares at the restricted. So I need to be careful. How long has this guy been under $1? So we've got since June. So you probably have another, well, now I guess they should be coming up in their potential delist here pretty soon. So let me look up that one real quick. So first thing I'm going to do is pull up FinViz, EPWK. Just going to go ahead and look this up really fast. This is such a garbage company. Quick ratio, current ratio is 0.17, so not even a fifth of a year. Basically, just a really quick summary there is current ratio indicates their short-term liquidatable assets in comparison to their scheduled long-term debt for a year, right? So that means that if they close the doors today, ceased operations today, they would survive for 0.17 years, which means less than a fifth of a year. So not a good financial standing. ROA is negative. All these are all negative. There's no reported insider ownership, very low institutional ownership. It just doesn't look good. So, you know, and it looks like they just dropped an offering 2 days ago, $8 million public offering. So yeah, that's a Chinese company as well. So a lot of big red flags on this one. So now I'm going to look at the SEC filings really quick, and we're going to see what we can get to laugh at if my internet wants to load. So let me also pull up my Discord here. All right. And if I do cut out, I'm sorry, guys. I put the YouTube link in the channel here. Make sure you guys look on that one. It might be a little bit more stable. I'm waiting for the SEC website to load. This is not good. Wow, that's taking forever. Maybe it's not my internet. Maybe it's my browser. Oh, you know what? I wonder if there was an update on my browser, because I had a bunch of pinned tabs that are gone as well. I wonder if something happened. Can you guys see my web browser at all, or is it still Weeble? I'm gonna have to just swap back to the Weeble here. Anyway, long story short, this company sucks. I guess I don't really even need to look at the SEC filings, so we're just gonna skip on that. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. My messages are not going through. My internet sucks, or something's going on here. Yep, and there, I just got disconnected from Discord. Can you guys hear me now? Jeez. Oh, I'm so bad, guys. This is horrible. I don't know what you guys heard last or saw last, but I was trying to load the SEC website for probably a minute or more. It just wouldn't load. So I think we're just going to skip on EPWK. Basically, I was saying that the company sucks. They're a Chinese company. They don't have any money. They wouldn't survive more than a year, or more than a fifth of a year. If they had to close their doors, so 2 months, basically, they'd have to close. And I was looking for the delist notice, but I couldn't get the SEC website to load because I'm on Sesame Street internet here. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't like it. I'm on a list now with Breckle. I'm always on a list. That's the spice of life, being on lists. So hopefully you guys can still hear me and maybe see my screen. Oh, it's so rough. It's so rough. I hate this internet so much. Anytime there's like a barrier in communication, I get frustrated because it makes it harder for me to get my point across. And I don't want you guys to, enter trades and stuff and get stuck, without me being able to help you, Northeast toward Pookie at Auction Cross. Yeah. West and Southwest. Make sure you don't look to me by accident. Further east if you do. Yeah. You got to identify your sender and your receivers, And you have to take into effect the Coriolis, curvature of the earth and all that. So basically, rule of thumb for me is I don't like to trade anything that's got a less than 1-to-1 volume to market cap ratio. And I don't like to trade these little sub-dollar stocks unless they show me something that I really like. So EPWK is not, doesn't mean there's not potential. Just means I don't want any part of this specific stock at this moment in time. GLTO obviously is one of our favorites. It's got a lot of potential. It likes to push and pull, but I'd like to see a retest of one of these zones. You can see it bounced really aggressively out of this yellow box. We drew this way, way, way over here where we traded it last time, and that's awesome. But it's got to get to an area that has historical violence before I can look at it again. Because I don't want to just jump into stuff because I see some movement, right? I want to wait for a reason to get in, but this one's definitely on my radar. And that has a pretty low volume to market cap ratio, which is fine too. It's not a deal breaker. It's just something I prefer to see. ATCH is also on the list. So I think we got a couple, market's open right now. We got a couple really good opportunities. So just a matter of kind of seeing what actually moves versus what doesn't move. So I'm going to switch this over to the 1 day, and I'm going to try to get the internet to work properly. And we'll see what happens here. Yeah, I do have, I made this little app here. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this or if it's going to load. I made this little app here that pulls up the watch list for the day, and it sits on top. So, it's convenient, but I'm not going to use it because I already have another monitor with this stuff. But once I figure out, once I have time basically to build a installer app for it, then I can give it to you guys. You can all have it, and it'll just sit right on top of your windows. It'll sit right on top of everything else. All right, GLTO looks like it's pushing a little bit. Again, I want to see a retest of something. I don't just want to see a push through a solid level like this. This was not a transitory level, so it shouldn't have done that, which means we're a bit scary. And so, oh man, I'm so sorry about the internet, guys. Like my time and sales just loaded. Oh, this is so bad. I feel like I'm on a leapfrog learning pad. You know, we don't want the... This is the information I get. It's it takes a minute for stuff to load. Hell yeah. BAOS is probably the one with the best potential in my opinion so far. Doesn't mean it's going to go. It just means that it's got the best potential. So for right now, we do have an area down here that we can watch. Yeah, I think I'd like to see a push out of that zone. I'm not going to do anything until it actually does, and I'm going to set up my hotkeys as well. Let's do, you know what, we'll do one share at a time on these, and we'll go from there. Okay. Leapfrog, yeah. Yeah, I'm about to percussive maintenance something. Oh, red, that's horrible. That just loaded. Wow, that is so bad. I blame the internet. That is so bad. I'm on the lowest possible settings just to make sure that the signal can go through. It's so bad. So I will call out the tickers and stuff that I trade. But damn, that's crazy. So I'm still just shopping around a little bit. I'm not jumping into anything just yet. I like SCWO. It's got to get over $1. It's got to retest. It's got to push. Like, it's got potential. It's got a pretty low volume to market cap ratio, but I don't quite like it here just yet. So we're just going to kind of do some shopping around. I do like BJDX. Let me kick down the lower time frame here and just see what I can get. Oh, yes. I like that. Okay, I'm going to enter BJDX right here. Let me grab 3 shares. No, I'll grab 4 shares. I'm going to grab 4 shares here at 4. Oh, sorry. I got filled at 397. I'm going to get my sell order set. Oh, I don't need a sell order because I got hotkeys. So I do like that one. It's a little bit risky biscuits getting it up into this little shakeout zone, but I like the potential on this one. It's up about 3% now already, so I'm okay with that. SCWO, if that can look. I hate this so much, guys. I'm flying blind. Good thing I'm comfortable trading without a chart, right? Oh, this is so bad. BAOS looks like it's pushing down through the zone. Don't want that. I want it to go the other way. So we're going to hang out on that one. AMBO is flat. No point in looking at that one. EPWK is garbage. No point in looking at that one. SCW is good. It's getting a little pullback here. I'd like to see a retest probably of this area here. And or a break out of that area there. So I like it, but I want to see it over $1. Okay. Yeah, I got to call the exchange up. Just stay on the phone with me, bro. We're going to be scalping today. You know? You don't get to go on a lunch break. Not for a long time. We got money to make. All right, SCGP is probably the other one that might have some potential here. It's got a nice volatile chart, but no volume. So I'll have to keep an eye on that one for volume. BJDX is pushing out of our zone so far. It's got a little bit of resistance to it, but that's okay. Once this zone breaks, we should have a nice, clean, beautiful push, in my opinion. EPWK is getting the attention that it wants, but I don't like this company. So I'm going to skip right over that. Not even worth looking at, in my opinion. I don't care if it goes 6,000%, not my problem. And GLTO is the one that I'm really waiting for. Charlie says, YYAI repeat from yesterday at lower levels. That should tell us to be more cautious, right? Let's take a look. Again, sub-dollar, terrible stock. We just want to trade the volume when it's there. I don't see anything significant on this one that I like. We kind of got a level here that we can look for, and we kind of got a level here that we can look for. Yeah, I'd probably just hang out personally. It's not looking healthy, right? It can always go, but you know, it's not the high quality setup that I like. So ATCH I do like. I'm gonna go ahead and draw a box on that one. We like boxes in this house. It's starting to react to this area, but it's not quite in there yet. So this would be a little bit of a risky entry, and it's $47. So I think I might pass on that one, but it's worth watching the setup at the very least. That was ATCH. So yeah, I think I'm primarily just going to watch GLTO. I don't think I'm going to be looking at too much else today. I think GLTO and probably VJDX are going to be my two top stocks. I ravaged the stock yesterday, not interested today. Absolutely. Just get your piece and get out. Looks like GLTO halted. So we didn't get our retest, and that's okay. You got to get comfortable just letting things go. If you're looking at these high potential stocks that are trash, like these companies are trash. Don't ever marry these stocks. These are little low float garbage fellas. Don't bring them home to meet your family. Just get in, get out, get your piece, and get rid, right? So you can see on this list here today, there are so many of these that are just sub-dollar. You got EPWK, you got SCWO, you got ATCH, you got YYAI. You know, it's pretty rare that you have 4 sub-dollar stocks in the top like 5 or 10. Like that's rare, and that just means that the money's flooding into these little nano caps and small caps, and it's temporary, right? So it's going to ebb and flow in and out. This is just, it's a result of an uncertain market, right? So when things are uncertain, the algos switch over and take advantage aggressively of these little sub-dollar garbage stocks. And that's where people tend to get hurt. So I'm not going to be caught up in that. I'd rather trade stuff, you know, maybe like $2 or more. And we can still trade these, but it's not worth the capital, right? I'd have to put, like, for example, if I wanted to trade ATCH on a retest of this right here, I'd have to put $46 in here, and I've only got 65 to trade with today. It's just not worth the risk unless I'm just trading on my own and I'm just looking for one trade to just get in and out, either for a small loss or a disproportionately larger profit. It's just not worth it. SCWO, it's $87. You know, I can't afford that on this account. It's a small cash account. So I'd have to trade it above $1 either way. And in order to trade it above $1, it needs to be above $1 and it needs to stay there. So the fact that it popped up to 109 and then immediately dropped down like 20, almost 30 cents, well, 20 cents. It's not worth it. Yen, which tickers have been traded? I only grabbed a piece of VJDX. I haven't traded anything else. I'm kind of explaining why I'm not trading aggressively today. The only other one that I saw that had value would be GLTO, and that one pushed and it halted. So I'm just kind of being very patient today. I just don't see what I like. You know, BAOS was one that had plenty of potential, but it pushed it went in the wrong direction. You know, I want it to go up out of this box. That's all I care about. ATCH looks beautiful. It's up to you guys. Actually, I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you think I should grab that one? If so, this would be the area. Just put a 1 in the chat if you want me to trade that one. 2 if you don't. I think there's better opportunities personally, but it's up to you guys. I don't really mind either way. I think we're just kind of in blah territory where there's not really a lot going on. But that would effectively end my trading for the day as far as settled cash. Porter, don't ruin it. I'm trying to collect data. Charlie says, I think it'll be a time suck and there's better out there. Porter says it's a trick. Maybe, don't worry about it. He's trying to get you to give him financial advice. Yes, the best way to grow generational wealth is to sue the hell out of everybody. I'm just kidding. But as you can see, we've got a nice 5-candle run into an area of rejection. So I'm not going to trade this one. I was just testing to see if you guys would be on board with it. But this is a nice 5-candle run. It is breaking. It is out of an area of high potential and historical violence. That would have been a trade. But again, I'm not going to commit all that money. Looks like a trade you might take now instead of waiting if you were bored. That's the right word, Charlie. So mornings like this, if we see a bunch of things moving and they're not the stuff that we like to see moving, the brain naturally wants to participate. And that was a perfect opportunity to identify from you guys, like whether or not you would have jumped on that prematurely, regardless of the outcome, right? I don't know if this is going to go up or down, but the setup was there. You know, the potential was there, blah, 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 blah. So it would have been a nice tight risk and a nice easy profit if it goes up, but it didn't fit my plan, right? And that's all that matters. So there's no point in trying to anticipate and try to over allocate into something just because. So this is what I see on CRML. It is nighttime hours, apparently. There we go. So this one, again, ran from one zone to the next. So these ranges are still valid. You know, you guys can see that they tend to hold up pretty well. Now, in this case, the range for me would be pretty low. So let me kick it up to the 15 minutes, see if there's any potential. I mean, there is. I think I would want to retest, though. I think it's pushed pretty hard. It's not to say it can't keep going, but the risk is pretty high that this might even halt. You know, it depends on how aggressive this push wants to be. But we are in a nice area here. A lot of violence, a lot of volatility in both directions from this zone. But these blue boxes here, I don't know if you guys can see those. That's really where the meat is, in my opinion, until we break out. This is one of those solid zone recoveries. So they're going to ping pong the price between those two orange boxes in most cases until there's enough volume to break it out, and then they switch direction, and then it blasts, and then it sells off just as hard in a lot of cases because they drop it. So got to be careful with stuff like that, but that's a good little rally on that one. So let's check back. GLTO is unhalted. It looks like it's showing some rejection at this zone so far. Doesn't mean it's going to reject all the way. It just means that it hasn't broken through. This blue box is transitory in nature, which means that the price enters the bottom. It should leave through the top. And if we're seeing it kind of sputter and reverse from here, that means that there's probably means there's a little bit too little volume, and we got to be careful with that. So let's keep an eye on it, and then we'll see where it goes. But if this does eventually pull back to my orange box, then I can look for another entry off that zone, and we'll have a good time with it, and we'll see where it goes. So gonna keep an eye on it. Let me check on BAOS. It looks like that one wants to push up a little bit, but it's got to get out of that box. It's got to go. A lot of strength here off the bottom, which is good. It consumed all that, cleared over recent highs, got decent volume on it, but it's got to keep going. I don't want to see a pullback after a move like that. I just want to see it go, 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 go. And if I do see a pullback, it shouldn't be more than half of this candle because that's a deep retrace, right? So if we break out of this box, maybe I'll jump in, but I'd like to see how it's going to behave up here. BJDX is kind of hovering, right? It's been back here before. It's not the end of the world. We're just kind of waiting for it to blast out of the zone. But I think right now my attention should be on BAOS for right now. So let me, I think I'll grab 2 shares of that one if it gives me what I want, right? Not jumping in yet. I'm waiting, but it's given me a setup so far. That'd be a nice little 3-bar play if it wasn't for that wick. So we'll just hang out. Oh, Top is in the house. Top is scalping. Top is scalping SCRV. Good stuff. I think I remember that one. All right. So BAOS is in the box. Right now we're being patient hunters, right? We're sitting in a tree stand. We had a big mountain of corn. We're just watching that corn and nothing else. And we got our weapon is loaded. We're starting to rehearse. We really we review a checklist of why we want to hurt this animal. I'm just kidding. And we're good. We're just waiting for the breakout. And again, don't copy trade me. My internet is absolute garbage right now, and I want you guys to be able to make your own confident decisions. That's my goal. I'm going to put a link in the chat here. That is Lee's coaching group, and I'll put it on the internet as well. If you guys don't have someone to teach you how to trade and help you build your trading plan based on you, and you're tired of struggling basically on your own, this is the best opportunity to fix that. So at least worth checking out. Ask some questions. BAOS over 5. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. I mean, I'd like to see it just break out of that zone, but an earlier entry wouldn't be too terrible. What are you talking about, Porter? What is what? You have to be more specific, sir. Is it something you picked up? Is it something that was wedged in your keyboard? Did you step on something? Is it a word in another language that you saw somewhere? Is it a rash? What's going on? Answer carefully. All right, so it looks like GLTO is showing rejection here. So I'd like to see it push off this orange box. Now we're in kind of a tricky territory here, right? Because we also have another kind of a sensitive zone right here. I'm going to go ahead and make this one like a darker blue. So this one should be transitory, but it is reacting to this zone. So I got to be a little bit cognizant of that as well. So BAOS is 484, GLTO is in the 1620. So I'm just going to kind of peek around, go back between these two. So BAOS right here, I want to see this break over 515-ish. And then GLTO, I want to see it break over, ideally down to like 14. If I can get it down to 14, that'd be awesome. BYRN is also just kind of ramping up. That's awesome. I like it. Nice easy trade on that one. Post earnings, we broke over all the local highs. We got plenty of room to gallop here on this one, so I'm just going to hang out. Sorry, I saw somebody outside. I'm going to let it cook. BJDX is still just, that's holding the zone. I don't have any reason to take action on that either way right now, so we're just going to hang out, and we'll see what we get. GLTO is at 16, which is good. I like it. Come on down. Come on down harder, faster, smoother. Uh-oh. You guys not able to hear me? Oof, you scared me, Red. Okay. Okay. Oof. No, you're good. I want to know if I ever do freeze or anything, just let me know, because I talk a lot and I go from topic to topic. So I try to keep a running log of what I talk about so that we don't miss anything too important. So this one here as well, GLTO, if I do get an entry on this one. So at this point, I think if it breaks out of this box here, I'd be comfortable taking an entry. High risk, obviously, because I want it to break, I want it to come down and retest this orange zone. But if we get a break out of this this bluish green zone, I think I'd be okay with at least one share, and then I can add to it if I want in the future. But this should be just a straight downward move. This right here, this zone, this lower half of this box, is like the best opportunity for that to blast out of this box, right? Because this is where the other trade originated. So if this candle turns green, we get a break out of this box over, it's like 15, what is this? What's the number on that? 1565. I think if we get a break over that, then we should be okay, or I will be okay. I don't want you guys to copy me. Don't copy me, because my internet could just crap out at any time. I got that Temu internet. And this is GLTO. BAOS is still just kind of hanging out in the box, so I'm going to watch GLTO because that is giving us a little bit better quality volume. So basically what I've got is I've got an area where the price blasted up from before. I've got decreasing volume and I've got decreasing price. So when the volume comes back in out of this area, it has the potential to push this price violently out of this zone up or down, right? Think of this like a hill. It's a peak. It's going to roll down that hill on one side or the other. So if that side happens to be the upside, I want to get in. If it happens to be the downside, I'll wait until it rallies to the next hill, and then it'll try to climb over that hill again. And if it fails, it'll roll back, which means it'll go up in price. I got to do something that doesn't rely on gravity for that. You guys get the idea. It's like pushing two magnets together. All right. So we have about 15 seconds left on this candle. Don't really care what it does. I just want to see it break out of this box. If it does, I'll grab one share. I'm grabbing one share right here. Again, that's a risky entry. Okay, I'm grabbing it a little bit ahead of time. The real quality buy is going to be down here off this orange box. So if this one share goes, it's great. If not, I'll just grab another share down here, and then I'll cut a tight stop loss on both of those. This upper threshold here is $13.94, so I'd like to see it come down and test $14, basically. And that's it. And again, BJDX just kind of doing its thing. It's sitting in a box, going sideways. Not really dead on volume, but it's got kind of flat volume, right? It's good because that means that it's not sell-off volume. So I'm comfortable with that. And remember, this zone here on GLTO should be transitory, so we should see a move to the downside. I just want to get in with one share just in case it reverses and goes back up, because it's starting to show some strength here. So that's good enough for me. BAOS is still, this is a nice healthy retrace minus this wick. This wick is what kills it. But if it didn't, that would be a beautiful retrace for continuation of the upside. But none of that really matters till it breaks out of the box anyway. So what's going on, JWAG? JWAG says, glad you're grabbing something. I was about to start betting on which of the two flies outside my window flies off first. I'm going to guess it's the one that goes away first. Looks like we won. Got to get that fix. Oh, no. We don't like fixes here. It's not good. So what's everyone doing this morning? We're about 21 minutes into the market, and I've grabbed 2 trades so far, and I'm still holding them. So who here has already blasted through all their buying power? I'm just curious. For academic reasons. Charlie says none. Okay. Red says 25% buying power gone. Okay. No trades yet. JWAG says, Yen says none. Japroc says none. All right, good stuff. So again, it's one of those mornings. The price is going down to sideways. It's like neutral to bearish. There's no reason to be jumping into a bunch of stuff. I consider what I'm doing today pretty aggressive because there's not good quality opportunities on, super dollar stocks. So we're just going to have to wait. We'll hang out a little bit. Nice little $17 profit on EPWK. Good stuff. And you were able to get out, right? Or scale out, I should say. You're able to manage the risk. And top, of course. Top, scalp, and serve until Tilray. Did you get any of BYRN by chance? It was one of the swings. We walked through that one in pretty excruciating detail in Lifetime. That was a pretty nice one. So on this one, right, we grabbed this here on the initial breakout. This is one, I can't remember who brought this one up. It wasn't you, Tammy, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this is a straight up range trade, and we had the earnings catalyst this morning to bring in volume, and that's it. Just waited till price was in an area of high potential value with good historical violence, and we got in as it was leaving, and then the volume came in and ignited those thrusters, and here we are, 20% up, and we can lock those profits whenever we want. So it's good stuff. Yeah, Tammy, I felt like it was you because it was one of your 100 tickers that I love. I love it. All right, so we are still just going flat. BAOS is kind of showing a little bit of juice here, but it's gotta, you gotta zoom out. Don't stay zoomed in super far and let a little bit of bullish activity persuade you. This really needs to get out of this box. And if it does, I'm gonna grab 2 shares. That's gonna be above 525-ish on that one. That's a BAOS. So it isn't giving me what I want yet. I do have a higher high and I have a higher low so far, which is great for potential reversal, but it's got to clear out of this area. I want it to do the same thing it did back here. And it has to show me that it has the strength to do that. Otherwise, it doesn't have the strength and there's no point in jumping in. So I'm just going to kind of wait for it. And this is the make or break ingredient for successful traders. You have to have patience and not just jump into everything you see because you think there's potential. You have to wait until the potential starts to show. Then you jump in and keep that risk nice and tight whenever. Oh, that's a nice, beautiful setup. Ooh, nice little hammer doji. Doji. Sorry, I don't know why I said hammer. So this one, I like the setup, but I'm not going to add any more money to it right here. This would normally be an area like this pattern right here out of this kind of zone. This would normally be where I would consider averaging in, but I don't like doing that on a small account. Plus I'm on a live stream and that would just be a bad example for you guys. But that would be where I would have just added another share. But again, in order to be aggressive, you have to be able to manage risk. And if you can't do that, like I've been doing this for a decade and a half. If you can't do that, there's no point in even trying that stuff. So, and that second ad would have a very short range that it goes over before I lock it in. It would just be kind of a quick, quick in and out. You want to see me trade with my other account? Duck, I don't think you do. I think that would cause a lot of FOMO. And I think a lot of people's feelings would get in the mix, and I don't want to do that. You guys saw the reaction in the chat when I accidentally leaked that on the stream with Austin that one time. Austin himself was freaking out, and I don't want that. So I like the small accounts. It's more relatable for everybody because you guys all have at least, you know, 90 bucks, right? All right. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of push on this one. Again, it's pushing out of the zone, right? So it gave us our confirmation. This transitory zone, right? Price moves in, price moves out the other side. Price moves in, price moves out the same side. So this side is less transitory now, for now, I should say. And the price wants to reverse here, but it's again fighting some resistance. So if the price re-enters and exits the bottom, I'll have my zone down here for a second buy. This is a much stronger reversal zone, the orange box down here, and that's on GLTO. How is BAOS doing, by the way? Nothing. See, that's why we don't jump into these. It's giving us nothing. I don't want to hang into indecision. I want to just get in when it's moving, or when it starts to move, I should say. I'm okay holding something like BJDX because it's above the zone. It's moving out of the zone. I'm okay waiting a little bit for this one. You know, even if it goes against me, that's okay. But I'm okay holding it for now because it's shown strength. I've got a couple of big bullish candles off the top of the zone. I'm okay with that. That's a much different scenario than something like BAOS, which is just kind of push and then aggressive pull to the downside. Like it's going the wrong way. So I don't like those. AMBO, it's a garbage chart. I'd have to kick it up in time frame, and I don't want to do that because there's no good volume to market cap ratio. So we'll hang out and we'll just be patient. You should let me trade it. Yeah, I'm down. I'll let you trade. I'll let my neighbor trade one day. That's fun. Just let him come over and I think it was like 50K or something like that. Just felt like shit. So bad. If you ever want to see somebody stress out, give them a big amount of money and then let them risk it all. You can literally watch the different like stages of escalation on his face. That was great. Target change we had. Would my target change if I average down on GLTO if it dropped to 14? I think only for the second share. I'd probably scale out a little bit above break even on the second share because I would be over allocated at that point. But no, my overall target won't because I want to seek a new high and or just into this box. That's kind of my good enough goal, right? So I would have 15% roughly. It looks like BGDX is kind of creeping up a little bit. Let's see if we get our rally here. We got a wall at 4. Sorry, I got something. Blech. Yum, yum. I don't know what that was. I got like had something stuck on my lip. That was weird. It didn't come from me. Just kidding. All right. So we got a nice little wedge, right? Nice, beautiful wedge set up on BJDX. We got, we're above our zone, right? We got a nice area of historical violence. We're getting ascending lows, descending highs. We're getting compression. We're getting more sporadic volume. Now, the risk here is that we got a bunch of wicks to the upside, and most of the participation in this wedge here is on the bottom half. But that's not a deal breaker, right? Because we got to consider context. The neighborhood we're in kind of dictates that this should hold as a zone. It should be like a trampoline. Right? Every time the price comes down, it should bounce up out of that. When it stops doing that, we throw the trampoline away because it's no longer a bouncy trampoline, right? We want to have a fun, exciting trampoline that is safe to jump on. It doesn't have a bunch of sticks underneath it that are poking up, and it doesn't have broken glass sprinkled all over. We just want to have a nice, bouncy, fun trampoline to jump on, and we want the bounces to go higher and higher, okay? And when that trampoline breaks, that's going to increase your house insurance. Yeah, that's okay. We can pay for it if we get a nice trampoline, right? Plus, if there's a storm, it can just go over and be someone else's problem. Fun fact. Just don't put your name on it. Always keep a spare in the garage, just in case you have to set it up really fast to say it's not yours. And yeah. Follow me for more legal advice. Yeah, I don't know where the trampoline came from. It's undocumented. It's not mine. Yeah, there you go. Just runaway trampolines. Absolutely. All right, BAOS again, just not giving us what we want. Right now, in theory, this area should have lots and lots of violence. Right, should have lots of volume, be very attractive. The problem is there could be a million people watching this, and nobody's going to buy it until it breaks out, and that's when everyone's going to pile in, and that's where we kind of have to time our entry a little bit so that we can get a good, clean entry on it. All right, looks like GLTO is showing some violence here. So far, so good. And remember, I'm okay if this wants to come down here and bounce off this zone. And I'm okay if it wants to break out of this zone. That right there is why I didn't want to add that second buy, because I don't want to be over allocated and then only be able to buy one share down here and bring my average down like a third of the way. I'd rather just see if it comes down here and then add another buy and just have the option later. I don't want to just use the option now and put it in the same spot I put the first one, if that makes sense. So again, the name of the game today is doing less, right? We don't want to just force everything that we can because we see stuff. Okay, you got to be careful with the confirmation bias, with the FOMO, the anticipation, all that stuff, right? As well as the negative stuff too, because the price was down here before. So if you're like panicky now, like if you were in this trade and you started getting panicky because it's here when it was already down here, and you weren't panicky here, that means that this information here is creating an expectation. It's fueling an anticipation, and that is the part of the brain, the anterior cingulate cortex and your visual cortex and your hippocampus and all that. It's assigning a disproportionate amount of value to these 4 candles for no reason. It's just because it's a pattern and because the price at one point was up higher. But the fact is the price is already lower than where it is now. So it's one of those weird little things that we have to study about ourselves, because I used to do that a lot when I started trading. I would have a scenario just like this. I'd be in a zone, I'd place an entry, and I'd have a stop loss down here and a target up here. And then what I would do is, I'd allow the price to go freely within the zone. But I realized the longer it stayed in that range, the more I started focusing on, the what if. And I started focusing on the unwillingness for it to come down and hit my stop loss. Now, in this case, I plan to average down, so I'm not going to use a stop loss on this. But that's what I would do. I would realize that every time it came back down to around where it already was, I would have a different set of emotions about it. I would have more intense concerns, right? And I realized how silly that was, because, like, again, it's already been down here. So it's like, why would you freak out about that? You didn't freak out the first time. So top lock 75% of his shares, looking for 239 in the rest of his position. That's on SERV or Tilray. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. I like Top. He's killing it. BJDX, same thing, right? This has already been down here. It's been down here. It's just revisiting this zone. We're still waiting for a good clean move to the upside. And that's just kind of all we can do for this one. So now put a 1 in the chat if you're copying Pookie, and a 2 in the chat if you're trading your own confident entries and not relying on me or anyone else. 1 and 2. Tick access 3. Not trading at the moment, just having fun. All right. Red says 15. All right. Getting some muddy data here. I love it. Ducks and swing trades, and he's up but not bothered. Hell yeah. Good stuff. Yeah, those slower trades are nice. Oh, Fast Silly, what's going on, buddy? I can't see all the names in here. So I see like Kenny Penny, how you doing? I see Snowflake, I see Top Stickman, Charlie Red, Paul C, Chance City. That's a new name for me. Nikki David, how's it going? I see Duck, I see Kramer Jr., Bag Zone, Blessing. I don't know why I did these all out of order. I probably should have just read them as a grid. I made that way harder for myself. But anyway. David, what if I'm just pressing buttons 78? Well, I mean, you certainly can. Paul C caught NVIDIA this morning. Okay. What'd you grab on that one? It's a nice little push-pull. It's 15 minutes on that fella. Look like that's a nice continuation. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So this right here, right? You got your disproportionately larger bullish candle here. That's your +1. This is your +2. So anything after this would be ideal for securing profits, depending on your time frames. If you're on contracts, you might want to let it go higher, look at higher time frames. But on the 15-minute, this, like anything after this specific close, would be ideal for profit taking, in my opinion. At least scaling out, right? You don't have to lock the whole thing, but that's a nice, beautiful trade off this. Again, these zones are nice, guys. It retested, so you got your breakout, your retest, and your confirmation to the upside. So nice, beautiful push. Let's see. Okay, so GLTO finally broke out of this range a little bit, and we'll see if we come down here and get our orange box. If we do, great. I'll add one more share. Let me get that ready just in case. I have a hotkey, but I'd rather just place a manual order and execute on that one. And then we've got our BJDX is kind of puttering around a little bit inside this range. My Weeble's being like super laggy again. That's not going to be fun. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Snowflake's been done trading for 15 minutes. All right. What'd you catch today, buddy? And how's that glucose? You learn this trading style from old kung fu movies. You call it drunken monkey trades. I mean, I can see the appeal. It's not the best form of self-defense, but you can certainly take some swings. IWM off the open. All right, good stuff. All right, so it looks like GL2 is wanting to test our zone. I'm going to wait till it actually enters this zone. Because again, I want it to kind of push into this magnet and then get repelled. I don't want it to just go near it and then kind of meh, right? If it reverses, that's okay. If it goes up, it's going to go up anyway. So I don't care if I don't get to add the second buy. If it comes down and gives me what I look for, and I can take a more confident entry, then I'll increase my exposure. Otherwise, there's no point in just risking an extra buy as it's still approaching this box. So I'm just going to hang out. Is it normal? I can't hear nothing. Oh, no. I'm sorry, man. Oh, thanks for being here. If you're hearing music, by the way, let me do this over here. If you guys hear music on your Discord, click this button right here. It'll mute the music. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then that way you guys don't have to hear all that. All right. So again, we're just waiting on a big surge in volume. You know, we're kind of in position. I'm willing to place one more buy on GLTO if it gives me what I want, but it hasn't yet. And BJDX is hanging out in the zone. It's got to break out of that zone. Otherwise, I might cut that one. I don't know. I don't know if I like it yet. Oh, no. Guys, I hate Discord so much. God, I hate Discord. Let me restart my Discord. I'm sorry about that, guys. The tech issues. I don't know if it's the internet or if it's Discord or what, but it sucks. All right. We'll turn the camera on. Are you guys able to hear me? Oops. Wow. Are you guys able to hear me now? Anybody at all? Let's put a 1 in the chat if you can, just so I know. Oh my God, I hate this. All right, let's just go to YouTube, guys. I'm sorry about that. This is just untenable. Gary says, yeah, all right, I'll stay in here, but I'm going to focus more on YouTube. All right, try to go to that link if you can. If you can hear me, obviously don't. I'd rather you stay here, but at least there's something there as an alternative. I hate you or Discord so much. I don't hate you. I started saying that, but I love you all. It just makes it tough to trade. Also, just so everyone knows, if you guys can hear me, MadMaverick's coaching stream is pushed till tomorrow. He's not doing it today. He's got a family situation he's going to focus on. So, all right. So again, I don't know if I like this enough to add more to it. That's BJDX, but I'm okay. Hey, Adam, what's going on? Can you hear me okay on YouTube? If you can, just slap a 1 in the chat so I know. If you can't, Pennyboy's Trade Alerts is also here. So who's, is that you, Porter? Are you on the admin account? Hello. Oh, okay, cool. You're red. All right, good to put a name to the name. Nice to meet you. All right, good stuff. So hopefully the video is a little bit cleaner and the audio is okay. I'm kind of debating whether or not I want to add any more to BJDX. I kind of don't. Not here. I'd rather, so a position like this, I'd rather add to the upside, honestly. So I'd rather, you know, there's my entry, there's my target. I'd rather do something like this where I add to it and then sell the bulk of that second buy at a lower level. Don't really want to add to the downside on something like this. So there's just a difference. But I do like the potential here. It's a nice, beautiful retrace. I think for this one, I'd rather just add another confirmation to the upside. YouTube quality is so much better. Yeah, Discord sucks, guys. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. It's horrible. I hate the platform. Ooh, all right. We are getting a touch of our zone. This is good stuff. So now I'm going to erase this transitory box and I'm going to draw a level right here because this is my Christmas morning. All right, good stuff, good stuff. So now I don't care what the price does. I just wanted to break over this 1450 level. And then if this candle here closes, ideally if it's red and it has a lower high, then I'll move this level down and that'll be my entry threshold. But for right now, I want to see it over 1450. I'm going to erase these lower lens as well. And there we go. Yeah, you guys are more than welcome to just jump in over to the YouTube. I won't take it personally. I get it. I hate Discord so much. So I'd rather you guys get to see the content because that's what matters. So I'm sorry, we gotta kind of offset ourselves here. But yes, plus, you know, YouTube's a lot more accessible. You know, if you're at work or something like that, you're probably better off pulling up YouTube than Discord. We'll see. BJDX is kind of hovering on the line. Again, I'm not going to add any more to this one unless it's pushing up. GLTO is in my box that I like. I got 10 seconds left on this candle, and then I'm going to add some more on a break over the high of this candle in the future. Yes, that's exactly what's happening, JWAG. It's all my master plan to take down Discord. So what I want to do now is on GLTO, I want to place a buy stop order. And I want to put it at 1425. And I just want it to be one share. And what this is going to do is when the price comes up here, it's automatically going to fill on the way up. So if price comes back up, I get my buy. If it goes back down, I can move this level down as much as I want to, but I'd like to keep it above this zone until it, you know, if it comes down far enough, like down to here, you know, or somewhere responsible, then I can move my buy stop all the way down there. But for right now, this is the active zone that I want to watch for a break. And that's what I'm looking for right there. So if it breaks out of this zone or just below it, I'm good. Otherwise, I'll have to manage it from there. But I like the potential here. So we'll see. Snowflake, I don't know what happened with Discord, but whatever, it was accidentally downloaded with a bunch of porn on my phone. As if my girlfriend asks, we got you, buddy. I mean, this is recorded. So, you know, maybe she won't see the recording. But yeah, we got you. We take care of our own, right? Plus, if you're single, you won't have to, you'll have more time to trade. So it's kind of a win-win, if you ask me. Just kidding. Don't do that, guys. It's only worth it for a week. A guy to your head or a gun to your head? Two very different scenarios. I don't judge, but CRV, what do you got going on there, buddy? Yeah, it's a nice top. I like it. Some good, clean fun you got there. Beautiful retrace. Look at that. Look at this retrace right here. So the horizontal line here is 50%. So 50 to 61.8% is like right here. So this is a beautiful retrace, excellent continuation. Great trade, sir. Catastrophic. It's okay. We live, we learn, we get. Ooh, this is nice. I'm seeing some wicks in this box, which is good, right? Those are a sign of strength for what I'm looking for, which is good. So I like that. BJDX is still just kind of hanging out, which is good because, again, it's not aggressively selling off. So that kind of works in my favor. So it's just a matter of which one is going to get the volume and whether or not the garbage like EPWK is going to, man, see this setup right here? This is what kills people. So if this doesn't get sustained volume and it doesn't blast to the upside, the potential for this to just have a massive sell-off down to like 9 cents again is very high. So we got to be very careful with garbage like that. Again, that's why I don't like trading those. But this setup right here, where you've got descending wicks and you've got, it looks good. It looks like the little pitchfork setup that we like. Actually, let me pull up this. So anybody here, let me just open this tab here. So basically this pattern right here, are you guys able to see that? That is an Arabic letter. It makes an S sound. It's like sa, sin. But you see how these tops are relatively flat? You know, they're a little offset, obviously. It depends on how you write it. But you see how like this is like a cup and handle scenario? Hang on just a moment, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. I gotta jump out of here in a couple minutes. I'll update you guys about the chats, but I'm here for a minute. But yeah, so anyway, like I was saying, when you get a chart like this, right, it kind of it behaves a little bit similarly. Like you've got some sort of dramatic move into that level, and then you've got a series of smaller little hooks right there. There's only 2 outcomes, and they're both pretty violent. But in most cases, when you got garbage stock and garbage volume like this, most of the time it's going to go to the downside, and most of the time it's going to be pretty violent to the downside. And we don't like that, right? Yeah, no, I had to mute there. Sorry, I'm still here, but I do have to jump off here in a couple minutes. And you know that's what we see a lot of times with cup and handles, right? Like it's very rare to see a cup and handle that is purely cup and handle, right? Like you most always have something like this scenario where you've got like one of these, and then you've kind of got like one of these, and maybe a little bit of that, and then it finally breaks, and then maybe you get like a retest, and then something like that. Like it's very rarely clean. But what you've got here is you've got a series of retests into a level, and depending on the quality of the volume and the strength of the volume, you get a beautiful move to the upside. Sometimes you get a move to the downside. And you can kind of avoid a lot of the downward moves just by not doing it on garbage, right? So if you get like EPWK, when you hit a ceiling like this, if it doesn't, like this has zone recovery on it, obviously, like you guys can see the symmetrical walls. You know, if this gets a good surge of volume, that's great. You know, I'm happy for you, but it's got to get over all these wicks in order to actually move. You know, any single part of this area right here is rejection territory. So this tells me the risk is not worth it, even if it does end up moving above and I get that confirmation bias and say, see, I was right. I told you, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't mean the risk is worth it. So, you know, in that case, it's better to just pass on those, in my opinion, or just trade them super tight. Like maybe you're just looking for a couple, you know, like maybe 2%, 3%. Then it's easy to catch depending on the stock. But those are not ones that you hold for a break over high and all that good stuff, because that's how you hurt yourself. Oh, you know what? I actually should have added this. So so we got another lower wick right here. So I'm actually going to go ahead and move this down to right there, 13.99. So just under 14. I'm going to erase this yellow line here. So basically the reason I say that is because we had a wick right here. It's hard to see because of the crosshair thing. We had a wick that is lower above the orange box here. And then we did break up there. So, in theory, I could just add my share right here, but I think I'll just let it play out. I'll just move the line down. It's going to break up over that again if it wants to. BJDX doing nothing. Well, we gotta let it do its thing. It's in the zone, right? It hasn't broken below the zone. It's gonna be flat until it's not, and that's not something we can control, right? I'm taking a risk based on the potential. I do have a defined cut point in mind just in case it doesn't do what I want it to do. And so far, I'm still seeing signs of strength. So I'm personally going to continue holding. But if you're, if watching the stock and having the stock not move is causing temptation or compulsion, or if it's boring, then that means that it's time to maybe consider taking some risk off the table so that you're not influenced by those emotions. Because my stop loss will just be below this box. I don't want it to lose this wick. I don't want it to come down here. I can always get back in. If it comes back up out of this box, I can always get back in. The move that I'm looking for is bigger than the range of this box. So if I take 2 trades, one's a win, one's a loss, then I'll have a net profit on that trade. Because it's a kind of a sizable range, which is why I also just wanted to grab 4 shares. So I've got $16 in here out of at a 65 total to trade with a $90 account. So what's your stop loss? What is your reason for being in the trade? I don't want you to copy me. So what's your plan for this one? Because remember, we also have to factor time. Like time has to be part of our trading plan, because the longer you're exposed to movements and specifically non-movement, the more influential those little ups and downs can be, because they're going to seem a lot bigger, right? If you zoom in like this and you see this big red candle, you're like, oh my God, that's a huge red candle. It's going to be emotionally destructive over time if you see a bunch of those. Even if the price doesn't move anywhere, right? If it just kind of bounces back and forth, but you see big red candle, you see big red candle, you see big red candle, that's going to take a toll, right? But if you zoom out, those red candles are nothing. It's tiny. They're so small and insignificant. It's not worth making decisions on. This candle is, these are 3 big candles. That's worth making a decision on. That's what I did. I made a decision out of the zone where this big candle came from. You got big candles here and here, which is, again, why these zones exist. So if you see something inside one of these zones and you decided to get in based on this zone, getting out of this zone, it's just kind of counterproductive. Now, if your plan was to trade a break up out of the zone and you're just wanting to catch momentum, and instead it's just going sideways and it hasn't broken out yet, we never got a candle close out of here, which is why I'm not placing my second buy yet. I have that buy stop in place on, this is specifically GLTO, not BJDX, sorry. But if that was your plan and it's going sideways, then yeah, you can absolutely cut it. If your plan was to buy based on a zone and sell based on a zone and it's not moving, that's okay. I hope that makes sense. Like there's a difference there. If you're just catching momentum, you don't want the price going sideways or down. You just want it to go straight up. As soon as you get in, you just want it to go, right? But then your timing of that entry is also going to be higher than in the zone. You're not going to get it in the zone or just above the zone. You're going to get it well above the zone as it's blasting and it has all that volume there. And you're going to keep it super tight. So if you find yourself staring at a chart and waiting for it to go, and you're, if your brain experiences some stress about it, then that's an opportunity to say, okay, well, this isn't what I'm looking for. I did get filled on my second share of GLTO, by the way. And then you can kind of, you can use that. That's data. You can collect that data, use it to your benefit, and adapt your trading plan around that trade, because that's something that is different for everybody. Everyone has different expectations and different risk tolerance, which is why I don't want you copying me, right? Just doing it for the love of the game. Well, still, it's every dollar can compound, I personally don't like to focus on the charts much. I focus on them while I'm here with you guys, but I mostly focus on conversation with you guys, because that's where the value is for you guys. I don't like staring at charts all day because I'm not getting paid extra to do that. The market isn't going to give me more money because I stared something into going up, because I don't have that ability. If I did, I'd stare at charts all day. I'd look at big charts, I'd put all my money in and I'd just stare it down like the men who stare at goats. I would just stare at it the whole time. But I don't have that ability. So it doesn't have any impact on the market whatsoever for me to sit there with my expectation and focus on it. My job is to find low risk, high potential opportunities, place my money in those areas when it shows me signs of strength and direction it's going to make me money, and then just let it play out, right? My job is then to just manage risk at that point and get out. So if I continue to monitor it and continue to analyze it, I'm doing extra work. I'm hanging out after I've clocked out. Yeah, it's a terrible George Clooney movie, I think. It was a terrible movie. It was meant to be a comedy, but it wasn't very funny for me anyway. But yeah, I don't like working after I clock out. I don't get paid more. And the stock market's the same way. Your job is just to figure out where you want to push a button and to let the chart tell you when it's time to push a button. And then you let the chart tell you when it's time to push another button. And that's all we got to do. Sorry. Because when you continue to watch something like that and it doesn't move, all you're doing is you're feeding the anticipation, which gives your brain dopamine, and you're bombarding yourself with confirmation bias, right? You're constantly looking for reasons to doubt your analysis, and that's when we end up cutting our profits early and letting our profits or letting our losses run, right? So it's basic psychology stuff that you just kind of have to learn about, and that's we do it in other areas of life too, but the market specifically is designed to exploit the challenges that we have by default to interface with uncertainty, right? So if we can't process uncertainty and the market can use that inefficiency to make money and take our money, then it's going to do exactly that. And we're going to give it to it willingly because we just don't know any better. And I'm here to help you guys break that cycle. Yeah, exactly, J-Wag. It was based on the LSD experiment for telepathic kills. Yeah. I mean, we have snipers, so I'd rather just use them. And yeah, Charlie, we're out of the box so far, right? Now we got a full candle that opened and closed outside the box. Now we just see if the volume comes in. If the volume comes in, we get our rally. Easy peasy, bam, bam, boom, bam, bam, boom, done. Yeah. If not, we might just hang out for a little while. But with that said, I really hate to cut this short, but I got to go. I got a thing here I got to focus on. I will update you all in the chats on these plays. BJDX and GLTO. I'm waiting for exactly the same thing on both, and that is just a surge in volume, and I will be seeking new high on GLTO. BJDX. I might sell some of my shares around the mid fours, like 450 to 460 range. GLTO, I'm just looking for a clean blast up to about 1750 plus range. I would like that, but I'm just going to kind of play it by ear as much as I can. And I hate cutting this short, but I do have to focus on this stuff, unfortunately. And BYRN, congrats if you guys traded that one. I'm going to keep holding my share, but it's very acceptable, I think, to lock in a 17, 18, 20% profit. Now that we're post earnings, there's no real fear about the price selling off because of earnings. So we can always scale out, scale down, and move stops up, right? So with that said, I am going to jump off of here. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys later. Let me, if you guys aren't part of the premium and you don't have a coach yet, again, Lee's coaching is moved to tomorrow. He's got a situation at home he's got to focus on today. But if you guys aren't part of that, then I will see you guys back here at earnings with 4 o'clock with Mr. Swing and Bull, and we'll crush it there. And yeah, be sure to like the video. It helps everybody else see this stuff. So I don't like to pander for likes and stuff, but if you are interested in helping other people learn how to trade, then clicking that button definitely helps. And it gets more people exposure to Top as well, because he absolutely crushed it with Serve. So let's take a peek. Look at that. Look at that. It's magic. Look at that guy. Yeah, I can't hang out in Discord. Discord sucks. But I will definitely shut this down and do the process anyway. So I appreciate it. For those that can hear me, goodbye. For those that can't, I will be awkwardly sitting in Discord while you try to hear me. I'll update you guys in the chats. All right, everybody have a good day, and we'll see you back here as soon as possible.